because we thought that there was a chance that maybe the president's the meeting they had at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time yesterday was going to get changed because of the reaction from coaches and players and athletic directors, and it felt like a lot of people and big name coaches were coming out and talking about this. And then the Michigan Harbaugh diatribe about how safe it's been. But then the presidents came out of the meeting exactly how I think we all thought was going to happen. Wetzel's negativity came out. Big Ten postpones the season to the spring. Okay, so they are going. The Big Ten is going to the spring. The Big Ten and the Pac-12. I learned this from a Lou Holtz rant yesterday. Okay, that went viral. Mm-hmm. Hey, Lou won ham yesterday.
The real Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz won ham, not Ty Schmidt being Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz won ham yesterday. I did not know that the Big Ten and the Pac-12 have been linked together since 1946 whenever they made the Rose Bowl game happen. Is that something, you played in a lot of Rose Bowls, I'd assume, over there at Ohio State. Is that something you knew, that the Big Ten and Pac-12 are basically tied at the hip since 1946? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had no idea, and I played in 0 Rose Bowls, but I don't expect you to know that. That's not a thing that you should know. But I know the Pac-12 plays the Big Ten every year out there. I didn't know why. Like, why? How did the connection even come about? Do we know? Were the two guys were buddies in both conferences? Hey, let's do this. Let's share info.
What was going on in the world in 1946? Pretty crazy stuff, right?
Yeah, right after World War II. Yeah. Just got out of Germany.
So I don't know. I mean,
a lot of babies being made.
So then the Pac-12 and maybe the Big Ten commissioner took a trip to California. Okay, took a little vacation. He was like, "Hey, what's going on?" She, by the way, very sexist to me right there.
And 1946, so it's okay.
Pretty sexist town.
Very sexist era in the world.
We don't know for sure.
It wasn't us.
We weren't there.
No,
I was in 87. I came in, and 41 years later. What do you want from me? I'm just. But anyways, could have been a female commissioner. We're not 100% sure, or male commissioner. Travels to California, and they just have a drink maybe over there, and they say, "Hey, let's do this thing. Let's bring these middle of the country and West Coast together." 1946, they're tied at the hip because everything that the Big Ten did this offseason, talking about schedule, we're going to interconference play. We're no longer going to pay the smaller schools. We're going to do this. Pac-12 right behind them. Like Pac-12 is doing exactly what the Big Ten's doing, and then it seemed like anytime the Big Ten was going to do something, the Pac-12 was going to do it, and they always seemed tied to hip. And then Lou Holtz broke the news that they've been together since 1946. So now Pac-12's dead this fall. Big Ten dead this fall. But there's some Big Ten coaches who are like, excuse me. Michigan said, we're still practicing. We're practicing right now. We're allowed 20 hours a week of practice, strength and conditioning, meetings. We're allowed to do whatever. And I don't know if this is because they are trying to keep their team in shape to potentially make a move, but Scott Frost of Nebraska has come out and said, hey, listen, we are going to do everything we can to play. And Kevin Warren, who has been the commissioner of the Big Ten since January, comes out and says, hey, he said something about if you want to husk your corn somewhere else or something. Like he made an
I don't know if that was part of his quote.
Foxy did. Foxy did. I sent to the group. Did you see that? We are very disappointed this is Scott Frost. We are very disappointed in the decision by the Big Ten Conference to postpone the football season as we have been and continue to be ready to play. Safety comes first. Based on the conversations with our medical experts, we continue to strongly believe the absolute safest place for our student athletes is within rigorous safety protocols, testing procedures, and the structure and support provided by Husker Athletics. We will continue to consult with medical experts and evaluate the situation as it emerges. We hope it may be possible for our student athletes to have the opportunity to compete. Kevin Warren came out immediately after Scott Frost said that. And I don't know if we were the driving force behind the potential super conference. I don't know. Likely. Because we don't have a lot of journalistic integrity here. So we can just start saying things like that. And other people are like, well, you know, the idiots on the internet were saying it, so we can act as if it's a report. And I don't know if we were the driving force behind that or if this was something else. But everybody started talking about, like, okay, the SEC is going to start taking schools now. The ACC, they're going to start taking schools now. Big 12 is allegedly forging ahead with a season. Nobody knows if they're going to be able to play a season, but the Big 12, SEC, and the ACC have not come out and said we're not doing a season. And the thought was, hey, let's go and get Justin Fields and that Ohio State team. Let's get them down here to the SEC. Okay, Penn State, you guys want to play? James Franklin said we're going to exhaust every option. You go down the ACC for this fall. And then Kevin Warren, commissioner of the Big Ten, said, oh, you guys can all get the hell out if you want. We'll take our $52 million back that the Big Ten Network pays everybody, and we will never see you again. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but it does feel as if that super conference that we all dreamed up is probably not going to happen.
What don't you think? Yesterday we had a lot of hope that, hey, Big Ten cancels – the big-time schools, Nebraska, Ohio State, Michigan, everybody's going to go find a place to play. But then the athletic director for Ohio State, Gene Smith, comes out and says, no, we will not be
What was
going
that? You think
anywhere
Kevin
else.
You think Kevin Warren told him, like, is there any way you can set aside the thing that you're thinking about going and sleeping with another woman?
Gene, please.
I guess
Gene,
they're all on the
Gene,
same
is there
page.
any
help
way-
us out, Gene.
Gene, can
This
you
is my first year as the commissioner, Gene.
I COVID, and then now they're talking about you guys going down to the SEC. Is there any way you can promise me that you'll keep your penis in your pants and not go down to the SEC while we make this decision? Why do you? Because if the Ohio State says it, by the way, that sets the tone for the entire Big Ten, right?
Yeah, I think that's – and for Gene Smith to come out first basically and say, hey, we're going to attempt to play in the spring as well. And when these tweets and when you say what college football is going to do, when they said, oh, we're going to attempt to play in the spring, I'm like, oh, so you're not confident at all in this spring football deal. But it got me thinking earlier this morning, where obviously these teams are probably going to have a tough time going to join in making this super conference. But what about the players? What if Justin Fields wants to transfer? Does he get an exemption? Like, what's the NCAA going to do? Are they going to make a ruling here soon? Because some players might try to take off and go somewhere they're going to be playing this fall.